Okay, before we head out today, I am going to take a look at again our election happening in our home and native land of Canada. And now that we're about 2 weeks into the election campaign and only four-ish, even less than that, weeks left before the end and everything's all said and done, things are really not looking good for the Conservatives. We were talking about there is a potential for a turnaround, for a reversal in the Conservative fortunes, but it really seems that the Liberals have not even hit their ceiling yet. They're not plateauing. As we can see in our election polling, the Liberals, in terms of their raw popular vote share, has continued to go up. And Pierre Poilievre has been really struggling to find his footing in this election. So here's an article. This is from the Economic Times. And this is one of the things that is not a very good indication for the Conservative campaign, because these are usually the kind of headlines that people wait till after the campaign is lost to produce. Right now we have Pierre Poilievre-led Conservative Party in chaos. Insiders call it dysfunctional as infighting over Donald Trump tariffs erupts. And that is definitely one of the ways that I feel about the Conservative campaign right now, is it feels very disoriented. It doesn't feel very focused. And it seems like they're struggling to hammer on a message that their political campaign can gather around. They're still using a lot of the same old tired stuff about wokeness and all that garbage that nobody really cares about. And it's just not landing. It's just not hitting home. People have a lot more pressing concerns right now. Of course, we see the instability happening down south today, right? We had Extermination Day, as I call it, because this is the worst day of the stock market since COVID. So yeah, we're just checking the markets here after Extermination Day hit the world. And we're down almost 1,700 points. This is the largest drop-off in the Dow Jones since COVID, since the lockdowns, which was 5 years ago. Can you believe that it's been 5 years since the pandemic? God damn it, does time fly. In any case, so we can also see, if we go, let's go to the 6 month here, so we can get a picture of what the stock market looked like when Joe Biden was in office. And we can see that we're down almost 3.5% since Sleepy Joe was at the wheel. And this is incredible, right? And the funny thing is, like, I don't really care about the stock market. I think it's all a bunch of nonsense anyway. But there are a lot of people who care. And there are a lot of people who take this as economic indicators. And there are a lot of people who have literally trillions of dollars invested in the stock market that is being completely wiped out right now by Donald Trump's tariff policy. And of course, here in Canada, we are very concerned about what Donald Trump is going to do, what his plans are, what he is going to attempt in the future. And the fact of the matter is that Pierre Poilievre has not been able to capitalize on the feeling of Canadians in that regard. He has not been able to assuage a lot of their fears that he will, in many ways, mirror a lot of Trump's policies. So yeah, Extermination Day, biggest meltdown since COVID. And I'm not going to lie, this is the best thing that Donald Trump has done in his presidency, which has wiped out trillions of dollars from billionaires. All these billionaires came together to get him elected, to get him in the office and pour a bunch of money into his campaign, and he rewards them by annihilating their wealth. So yeah, back to Pierre Poilievre's campaign. There seems to be a lot of insiders that are frustrated with the direction that it's going. And I think the thing is, really, the Conservatives got too comfortable. They got too complacent that they were going to win, and they didn't foresee a scenario where they would have to so rapidly adjust their stance, so rapidly adjust their messaging to combat a new political reality. And it's showing. And it already seems like Conservatives are writing Pierre Poilievre's obituary before it happens. And this is, to me, the biggest thing that is a weakness for the Liberals right now. They are getting complacent now. Just like the Conservatives were getting complacent, now I can see a lot of Liberals getting very complacent. And they think that this election is already a done deal. It's not a done deal. And people here, they think that I'm a Mark Carney supporter, as vis-a-vis the last episode. I am not a Mark Carney supporter. I will not be voting for him. I will be going down with the orange ship. That is where my vote is going to lie. And I would, like I said, never ever vote for a banker. I have a strict principle to never ever vote for financial people, and I'm certainly not going to be breaking that now. But one politician, give a shit what this guy's yapping about. But anyway, one politician who seems to be writing Pierre Poilievre's obituary is our premier, or my premier here in Alberta, Danielle Smith, who every time she opens her mouth, you can see like the Conservatives go down in the polls because she is seen as a very close ally to Donald Trump, seen as very closely tied to the United States. And it's not hard to see why. She just went down to Florida on Albertan taxpayer money to go speak at an event hosted by PragerU and hosted by Ben Shapiro. And here's the thing, like if fucking the leader of the NDP here, former mayor of Calgary, Naheed Nenshi, if Nenshi had gone on a trip on Alberta taxpayer dime to go sit with Hassan Piker and appear on a Hassan Piker stream, Conservatives would be losing their goddamn minds. It would be the thing you hear about constantly, every day, all of the time. And they would be right. It would be a huge waste of taxpayer dollars. I don't give a shit if Danielle wants to go visit Ben Shapiro on her own dime. She can do whatever else she wants. But don't spend my goddamn taxpayer money to do it. Anyway, so we have this story coming out where it seems like she's already writing Pierre Poilievre's obituary. And she is basically saying that she's going to go around and she's going to have this like referendum campaign, this post-mortem referendum campaign to see what Albertans want to do after the election. And it seems like she's very heavily inferring that the Liberals will be the ones who are going to win that election. And she's asking what Albertans are going to do if another Liberal term is on the horizon. And I think that there's a real possibility that she might try and pull Alberta out of Canada and potentially join the United States. I don't know if, that's in the cards, but at least separate from Canada if the Liberals win. I think this is a pretty clear indication that she's laying the groundwork, she's laying the pipe work, and that is fucking terrifying. And because for someone like me who lives in Alberta, supposedly we can't join or leave Canada or join the United States without a referendum, and that's why she's talking about the appetite for a referendum. And our polling shows that even though Alberta is the most right-wing province in Canada, we still wouldn't have voted for Donald Trump. Donald Trump is still very unpopular here. And the fact of the matter is, I don't think the appetite for Alberta to join the United States is there. Even if we do have another Liberal majority, I don't think that's going to force a lot of Albertans to say, you know what, I want to leave and join the United States. I actually think that if Donald Trump wasn't the president, the proportion of Albertans who would want to join the United States would actually be much higher. The fact that Donald Trump is the president makes most Albertans a lot more hesitant to actually join the United States. And it does scare me because if that happens, right, obviously I'm going to vote to stay in Canada if a referendum happens here in Alberta. But if that does happen, like, I don't know what I would do, because it's not like I can just uproot my entire life here. Wife, family, kids, house, everything. I can't just pull up my roots and leave on a whim. That's just not realistic for me at this point in my life. And I'm worried that I'm stuck on this goddamn roller coaster no matter what happens. So I'm pretty concerned about the direction Danielle is taking this province. And there are some pretty eerie indications about what she's planning for the future. So anyway, that's going to bring to the end of my ramblings. And until next time, don't forget,
you must construct additional pylons.